Hey everyone, this is Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet, and I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So, I saw a few videos during the week, and it involved divestors. The very first video that I saw was a video where there was a black man interviewing a divestor, and basically what happened was he kept catching her in these, different contradictions and conundrums about her whole philosophy on divesting, right? Basically, just catching her in a lot of the BS that surrounds and swirls around, pun intended, all the BS that swirls around the mentality and the philosophy of the divestment movement. The second video I saw was a black female just kind of, singing praises to the divestment movement and acting as if you know, divesting from the black community was some sort of achievement or some sort of save all for black women. And, after watching these two videos, it surprised me a little bit, but it really shouldn't. But it got to me that there are still black females out there that think divestment is somehow a solution for all their problems, woes, and ills. Okay, divestment is not a solution. Okay, I don't know who told them that. I don't know where they're getting that from, but just divesting from the black community is not a solution. For one thing, when it comes to divestment, none of you are actually divesting. A lot of you say you are, and basically that's the majority of the quote unquote divestment movement are just bitter black women who get on social media and talk about how they're going to leave Blackistan and go get themselves a white man. That's basically the majority, the mass majority of them are just people doing that. And they still live in the hood. They still live around black people. Some of them have black people living at their house, whether it be their children or other family members. They might even have a black spouse, right? So a lot of them are just BSing, right? The other portion are these black females who might actually live alone, might be lonely. They might have some like corporate job or just some sort of job that keeps them busy all the time. So a lot of them don't have time for any type of real dating, and they've had their mind filled with so much nonsense when it comes to dating and relationships. They think that you know they're supposed to be with a man that makes more money than them, and the man's going to whisk them away and buy them a mansion and allow them to shop all day while also allowing them to work, and they're going to have the perfect family and perfect kids, and everything's just going to be completely perfect based on however they feel at that moment, which a lot of that stuff is nonsense. That's not a real relationship. That's not real when it comes to marriage or any type of couple working together for a household. Okay, a lot of that stuff that they've been raised with is BS, and it's warped their mind. So a lot of them are just very lonely and depressed, and the only outlet that they have for their depression is the divestment movement. And it's basically the divestment movement basically is just a bunch of black women coming online to talk trash about black men or to talk trash about their black baby daddies or whatever. Right? There's no, it's not a movement where any real progression is being made. Most of them are, once again, are not even doing what they say they're doing, which is moving away from the black community and not involving themselves with black people. Because if you were truly a divestor, you would cease to do any more videos or any more content reflecting on the black community. Okay, like, so if you've divested, if you've left the black community, why are you spending so much time talking about it? It's the same thing I said to these passport bros. If you got your passport and you're living abroad with all these different types of women, why are you still wasting your time making content about what's going on here in America or with American women or American black women? You see, these people have a pathology. It has nothing to do with what they claim their movement is about. It has to do, a lot of it has to do with self-hate and self-sabotage. So that's why they can't help it, they can't help just jumping back in and tearing down the opposite gender. They have to do that in order to justify whatever nonsense they've made up in their own head. But once again, divestment is not a solution. And let's use the example of, let's pretend that these women have completely divested, and they got themselves a white man or a Hispanic man or an Asian man, and they're living off in Sorotopia with these men. You often notice that a lot of these women have the same issues with these men that they had with black men. So basically, they've gone out there and found someone else and wound up in some of the same terrible situations, whether it be abuse, whether it be physical abuse, verbal abuse, spiritual abuse. Um, the the non-black man will be quote unquote dusty, or not have a job, or he might be a drug addict, or he might be abusive to their children, right? So, or he might be a sex addict, he might cheat or whatever, right? So these women run into the same things, and that's going to happen because, once again, with this whole divestment movement, is basically a very childish movement where you blame all of your problems on the opposite gender, or blame all your problems on the black community. So you're not actually solving your problems. You basically just moved them somewhere else. Okay, you've taken all of your pathologies, all of your trauma, and all of the issues that you have, and you brought them to a completely different community, thinking things are going to be different. But because you haven't done any type of real, self-checking, because you haven't worked on yourself at all, you've brought all the same pathologies into your own house, and you have attracted the same types of people. So now you're just right back to square one, where you're dealing with all types of nonsense. Then some of those women, they still don't get the point. They'll say, well, then all men are bad. It's not just black men. All these men ain't shit, right? Then they try to live by themselves or be a lesbian or whatever, and that goes wrong. So it's like, if you don't, at some point you had to start accepting accountability and responsibility for your own actions and how you live, or else you're just going to keep on running into the same problems over and over again. So once again, divestment is not a solution. Now, when I say that, this is not me trying to make an appeal for divestors to stay within the black community or stay around us. The sad thing is, a lot of them do stay around us, and no matter whatever they say they're going to do, like if they were just going to divest and leave us alone, I would be all for that. The problem is they don't do that. They keep coming back and causing more chaos and derision within the black community. But I wish they would just go ahead and leave and divest from the black community and leave Blackistan and never come back. The problem is they don't actually do that. They spend most of their time still doing their best to tear down the black community. But if there was such thing as a divestment movement, and these people would actually divest or get their passports, if I was a gazillionaire or a billionaire, I'd go buy an island and let all these people divest and take their passports and just live there for the rest of their lives, build a big old electric fence around the island and put, sharks and everything else around the island so they can't leave, and just let them have at it. They can do whatever they want there. They can procreate, they can destroy each other. I might, drop off some care packages with, AK-47s and pistols or whatever, with lots of methamphetamines and alcohol, and just let them have at it until maybe none of them are left. That would be the ideal situation. But I'm pretty sure they would probably just procreate and create one big ghetto, because that's what these people do, and that's exactly what the divestors and passport bros have been doing anyway. The only difference is now they can just go ahead and just do it with each other and each other only. That would be the perfect and optimal situation, and you'll make sure both them and whatever messed up progeny they create cannot leave that island. So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about these divestors and swirlers who think that they figured out some sort of great solution by leaving the black community. Once again, I wish they would leave. They don't leave, though. It seems like they spend all their time talking trash about black people. If you're going to divest, if you're going to swirl and leave, go ahead and leave and never come back. And don't say another word about black people. Just divest and go away. Anyway, mad black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.